Okay, so this is a set of notes on using measures of center in statistics. Okay, and we're going to identify four major measures of center. We're going to have a mean, a median, a mode, and a mid-range. Okay, so what we do here is we're going to kind of work with an example data set here. So let's say I have a data set of 5.40, 1.10, 0.42, 0.73, and finally 0.48. and another 1.10. So this data point shows up twice in the set. Okay, so here's the way you find the mean. The mean is just the average that you normally account for. We use X bar to talk about the mean. So you take the values, 5.40 plus 1.10 plus 0.42 plus 0.73 plus 0.48 plus 1.10, and we divide that by 6. So I'm going to kind of like make a little space here. If you follow that calculation, that comes up as 9.23 over 6, which is 1.538. Okay, so that gets me the idea of a mean. So it's just taking the average of all of the data points. So that's one way to find the center. To find the median, we're taking the middle point. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put all these points in order. So the lowest one is 0.42, and then I have 0.48, and then 0.73, 1.10, 1.10, and 5.40. So normally we would put these in order, and we look at the point in the middle, and if there's a point there, then we use it. That would be if you had an odd number of entries, but here we have an even number, so we have 2 points in the middle. So what we do is we find the average of those. So we take 0.73 and add that to 1.10, divide by 2, which gives us, what is that, 1.83 over 2, which ultimately becomes 0.915. So for this value, we oftentimes use x tilde. So this is the median. It is the middle number. Okay, mode is the most frequent number in the set, and that's pretty easy to find. We look at the set of numbers, and the only number in the set that shows up twice is 1.10. So it is the most frequent number in the set. So we can oftentimes use the capital M to represent the mode. The mode here would be 1.10. It's the number that shows up most often in the set. If no number does, then it doesn't have a mode. A set can have more than one mode if there's like two numbers that show up the same amount of times. So that's the mode. Mid-range is just the average of the low and the high. So if you take the low in the set, 0.42, you take the high in the set, 5.40, and divide them by 2. So let's see, what's that going to give me? It's going to give me 5.82 over 2, which comes out to be 2.910. And that is my mid-range. Okay, so 4 different ways of finding a center. The mean, which is just the average, and in this case it came out as like 1.538. The median, which is the middle number, which came out as 0.915. The mode, which is the most frequent number in the set, 1.10. And the mid-range, which is 2.915. 1, 0. So all 4 of these values are different, and they're different ways of finding the center of this set of data. And different ones are used for different purposes. We'll get into a little bit more of that as the class goes on, but we just want to identify these 4 ways of finding the mode. Typically, when you are giving data, if you notice that with most of these we brought it to, if we had to round, we rounded to 3 decimal points. And the reason why we did that is because the data set itself gave us everything in 2 decimal points. So when you round, you can always round to 1 more decimal point than what's in the data set. So if you get 2 decimal points in the data set, you round to 3. If the data set gives you 4 decimal points, you round to 5. All right, so we're going to look at 2 of these. The mean and the median are really easy to get from the TI-84 calculator if you have a long data set. The mode and the mid-range, a little bit more complicated there, but these 2 are really easy, and we'll look at how that works. Okay, so we're going to use the same example data set that we've been working with throughout this entire video. We're going to enter that into L1 in the calculator, so we're going to hit Stat 1 for edit, and we're going to put that data set in. 5.40, 1.10, 0.42, 0.73, 0.48, and 1.10. So there's our 6 data points that we've been working with. And I'm going to go back to the main screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform a calculation here. So I'm going to hit Stat, and then we're going to go to Calculate, and we're going to find the 1 variable statistic. So that's number 1. And it sets up to say do that with list 1. And for right now, I'm leaving the frequency list blank. And I hit Calculate. Okay, so if you look, here is the mean. It's the X bar. It's 1.538 rounded to 3 decimal places, which is what we got when we did the calculation by hand. So there's the same mean value. And these other things we're going to look at, like what do these do a little bit later on. But if you scroll downward, you get what we call a 5-number summary, and one of the numbers in that 5-number summary is the median. And if you look, that median is 0.915, which is the same median that we got when we did the calculation by hand. So using the 1 variable statistics on the calculator will produce the mean and the median for you. The mode takes a little bit more thinking. In the mid-range, though we don't get it from this, we do get the minimum value of 0.42, the maximum value of 5.4. So you could add those and divide by 2, and that would get you the mid-range. So it even guides that a little bit. So we'll look at what the rest of these 1 variable statistics are a little bit later on when we get into like measures of variation and things like that. But it's a pretty powerful tool on the calculator, and would like to know where that is. All right, so 4 measures of centrality: mean, median, mode, and mid-range. And that's it for this section.